Hi everybody, my name is Ann and you're watching Art on the Creek. This is a quick bonus video from my home studio in Parker, Colorado, and I have Rebecca Page to thank. Thanks, Rebecca. I wanted to go ahead and show you all the mixes that we can get with the Jacksons Artist Watercolors. So this will just be really quick. I'm just going to finish this color chart. I got a great question from Rebecca and I want to show you guys how these colors mix. Okay, you ready? Let's get to it. When I first reviewed these artist watercolors from Jacksons, I was using this Pith sketchbook. I think it's a great sketchbook for colored pencil and for very, very light washes. For me personally, I didn't like how the paper buckled, but that is okay for a sketchbook. If that doesn't bother you, then this won't be an issue. Here I just swatched them out in that video, and I will put a link to the video here. I'll try and put a card up. I'm still figuring out how to do that, but it will definitely be down in the description. At any rate, here they are swatched out, and they're ultramarine deep. It doesn't really granulate too much, at least not on this paper. So, you know, you need more texture to granulate. So the test that we're going to do today, I'm going to use different paper. But just to refresh your memory, here is some of the paintings that can result from the Jacksons. I've had fun painting with them. It works for many different styles, and I did this one just the other day. I really like them. The paper here, this is kind of an off-white paper, so you don't get a lot of that rich luminescence from it. But it does help to make a moody atmosphere. So this is the Pith sketchbook. Not going to use that today. The one that I want to use today to make the test is, I'm going to use the Legion Aqua Stonehenge. This is a heavy version. It's 600 GSM 300-pound paper, and this sheet is a little bigger. It's 10 by 14, but it is 100% cotton, and we should be able to get some good tests out of this. So let me set it up and we'll get going. Surprise, surprise, I wasn't filming for that whole time. I thought I was. But what I was just saying about mixes, and something I want to show you, you've got the phthalo green mixed with the cad red light, and can you see how beautifully the color separates into its different pigments? That's why I like making mixes. Okay, to focus. I am so sorry. I had all of this swatching was filmed, but yeah, I went up to zoom in and there was nothing happening, so I must have hit a button on the camera. Okay, now we'll start over. Sap green and burnt sienna. Really good color for marshy grasses and things like that. And then we've got sap green and burnt umber. And that just takes it down to kind of a reddy greenish brown. Phthalo blue with phthalo green. This should be a lovely kind of an oceany color. Might have that a little too green. There we go. That's nice. Now we're on phthalo green with ultramarine blue. Okay, phthalo green and cobalt blue. This is a pretty one. There we go, phthalo green and yellow ochre. phthalo green, and burnt sienna. And then finally phthalo green and burnt umber. The phthalo green and burnt sienna is going to be a beautiful mix. I don't know if you can see, but look at that separation that we're already getting in the palette. Same with the cobalt. And on the paper too, we're getting some really good separation. Let's take phthalo blue. And we'll mix that one with ultramarine blue. Okay, now phthalo blue. And we'll mix that one with cobalt. Just brightens up that cobalt a little bit. Cobalt to me can sometimes look a little milky. I love it though. I love the granulation to that one. Phthalo blue and yellow ochre. Another lovely green. Phthalo blue, burnt sienna. That's a cool color. Of course, we're going to get a nice neutral gray out of that one. And that's going to have a lot of nice separation to it. I can see it already separating in the palette. So that's very nice. Phthalo blue, burnt sienna should give us something similar. It's going to pull just a little bit green, or burnt umber rather. Very dark green or a warm gray. Very nice color. We'll see how those separate out. Ultramarine and cobalt is our first. That should be a really great granulator. We'll have to see what that does. Ultramarine and yellow ochre. Lovely reddy green. Nice separation on that one as well. Ultramarine and burnt sienna. Most of you know this will probably mix into a beautiful neutral gray, which is one of my favorite mixes. I use it often. And if you make it strong enough, you can definitely get a black out of it. That's the gray that I like. However, this phthalo came out really nicely too. Got that mixed with just a little bit too much brown, I think. There we go. That's a better 50-50 mix. All right, now let's jump to the burnt umber. And in this mix, you get even darker. Ooh, that's too blue. That's another thing that's really fun with these mixes is that you can pilot them to however you want them. Cobalt and yellow ochre. There we go. Really good separation on this one. Cobalt and burnt sienna, which I don't think I've ever mixed these two together for painting. But I suppose you could. Definitely could come up with a nice gray here. Cobalt. Burnt umber. Really nice gray on that. Beautiful separation. Okay, what's next? Yellow ochre with burnt sienna. And now we have yellow ochre with burnt umber. And just a couple left. We have burnt sienna. And we need to mix that one with burnt umber. If you like to paint wildlife or horses, that's a great brown for you. Beautiful mixes. I'm jumping back and forth here in the filming a little bit, but I want to talk about these mixes some more because they are beautiful, right? I mean, look, you have many different hues of a reddish orange that you can get. In botanicals, this would give you a wide variety of greens. Look at all of these greens that you can create. The purples, you can get a lot of different definition with purples. Getting into more reds, earth tones, coming down here with the browns that you can get all the range of grays. The blues going into a teal. This is just a wonderful set for mixing. And I didn't want to pass by that note because this is a really excellent set to have. Set this just over here for a moment. I'm going to get something else set here. Rebecca, the one that you asked specifically about was the phthalo green and the carmine. So let's do that in a little bit bigger area, shall we? Carmine and phthalo green. Your question was, do they mix a silvery gray? I'm getting them to pull purple. Let's see if we can mix a little more red into that. And that's more purpley. A little bit more of the phthalo green. I think that both of those are too cool for you to get a red, or a gray rather. Let's try mixing the phthalo green with the carmine though, because that's got a nice orangey base to it. I think I'm going to come back to this though. Let's go ahead and jump over to the phthalo green and the cad red light, because I am not convinced that we cannot get a gray out of the phthalo green and the carmine. Trying to mix this on the paper. This is almost like that Cascade green where you get all of the different granulation happening, the different pigment separation rather. So we'll just do a bunch of mixes on paper here and see what different kind of layers we can get. That's a fun pigment. Both of these are. So this here, pen is working. This is the phthalo green. And the carmine. But this is the phthalo green and the cad red light. This one is fascinating, but I wouldn't use that as a gray mix. I would use it more as a green. You can use it on rocks in the forest, anything like that. But all of these grays, you can get a good mix of warm and cool grays. This one, the cobalt and the burnt umber, is probably one of the most neutral. I always rely on the ultramarine deep and the burnt sienna, but looking at it here, it has a little more silvery tint to it than this one. So I think your best bet for mixing grays with this Jackson set is still going to be your blues and browns. But play with them because, as you can see, you can get a lot of variance there. But I decided this chart, I'm not satisfied. I want to mix some more. So here again is the phthalo green with the cad red light. Love it. Love the separation you get. I wanted to try again with the phthalo green and the carmine because up here, yeah, beautiful purple, beautiful cool green. It works very well that way. But again, that's the phthalo and the cad red. I wanted to do it again because, Rebecca, you specifically asked about a silvery gray. To my naked eye, this is really more of a blue right here. But on camera, you could pass for gray. So I'm going to say you can do it. The mix might be something you'll really have to play with, and definitely I would say mix enough because you're not going to want to have to remix it. But boy, beautiful separation there. And the other thing that I really would hope that shows up on camera is the slight sheen that is coming up on these paints, particularly in the grays. Don't know if you guys can see it, but these Jacksons Artist Watercolors are officially excellent. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching these mixes come to life of the Jacksons Artist Watercolors. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye now.